So let's define them first. Endorsements are endorsements of your skills. They're quick, they're a flick of the keyboard. Somebody endorses you for a skill, hopefully, that they actually know you have. Unfortunately, a lot of people endorse other people for skills that they don't necessarily know you have. They might endorse you for all your skills. And that's probably not a good idea, especially in a regulated industry. A lot of the work that I do in the law industry, the bar associations are really taking a dim view of people endorsing you for skills they don't necessarily have experienced with you. So you want to be very careful about going through your LinkedIn profile, looking at who's endorsed you for your various skills, and eliminating them as endorsers if they don't really know your skill. That's just good housekeeping, independent of being in the financial or the legal industry. I just think you need to keep it honest and keep it clean and keep a tidy house. If you eliminate somebody who's endorsed you, they will not get a notification that you've taken them out as an endorser. Don't worry. I saw you got very nervous there.
They get an email immediately. Someone comes to their house.
They knock on your door.
You know?
Yeah. So that's skills. Skills are really important because they're one of the 4 really important places on LinkedIn where you get found in the search. So you really want to be careful that you choose the right skills, you choose the right endorsements for those skills, and that you're continuously keeping an eye on who's endorsed you for the skills. Recommendations are a whole nother animal. Recommendations are people who actually write a letter of recommendation for you. It's long form. It doesn't have to be long because no one reads that stuff that much anymore. But nonetheless, help your recommender. Give your recommender, when you ask for a recommendation, give them the nuts and bolts of what you'd like them to recommend you for. So here's where I go. I have a rule. It's called the Halpert rule. 2% multiplied times the number of connections you have is the number of recommendations you might want to have on your LinkedIn profile. Okay? So if you have 500, then 10. It works that way. It works that way not scientifically, but I've found that 98% of the people you're connected to like you. 2% love you enough to actually commit the right words to say that person really does a bang-up job. And let me tell you a story about when they demonstrated their real worth. Stories are really rich, stories are very memorable, and the right recommendations written as a memorable story with a little prodding for you to the recommender goes a long, long way. People who recommend, they have their own circle. You have your own circle. Everybody can see each other, recommendee and recommenders, and that becomes something where if somebody you know recommended somebody else, there must be some real value in that person you're not completely aware of. So it really becomes a really valuable pass down. So think about recommendations carefully. What facets of your business do you want to show off? Ask the recommender to recommend just that facet of business. Because if you just say, hey, Bob, would you recommend me? You're going to get, Mark is a really good worker. Mark does a really good job. Boring, 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 boring. And no one wants to read boring recommendations. So ask and you'll get really good recommendations if you lead the recommender to what you want them to recommend you for. I want to go one more step beyond on the compliance. I mean, and certainly in this industry, the legal industry as well. If somebody's going to recommend you, they can't say that you are the only person who can achieve amazing results of 110% return in a year. Or they can't say something like, this is the only person who's able to fix this problem because he works some magic that no one else had. That's just not good business. It's not honest, it's not reliable, and unfortunately other individuals take that information and they expect it to happen over and over again. You can't deliver that, they can't expect that. So when you have somebody write you a recommendation on LinkedIn, it's your job to review the recommendation itself for accuracy, honesty, no typos, no erroneous information, misleading information, because once you publish it on LinkedIn, it's out there and other people can see it. And you don't know really who's going to see it. So I want to be sure that you understand that. You can send that recommendation back to the recommender and ask him or her to amend it, correct it, redo it, whatever you want, and don't publish a recommendation unless you can live with it and your compliance people can live with you. That's a really important point.